Hey, this is Jeremy with Easy Logistics Management. Wanted to talk to you today about LTL Freight and freight shipping quotes and our 8 tips for always getting the most accurate and best priced freight quote for your shipping needs. Number one would be have a freight scale, a proper freight scale, so you can actually weigh your loads, and even better if it prints a weight receipt on the outbound so that you're not just guessing or adding and you actually have a digital receipt to apply to the bill of lading, or if you get a rebill or anything of that nature, you'd have an actual digital receipt from how much the product or commodity weighed. That'll get you a more accurate rate and save you the headache of a rebill or adjustment later on. Measure your dims or dimensions of your pallet or boxes or crates or whatever you're shipping, especially if you're shipping density rated freight like bikes or surfboards. Having accurate measurements that are recorded that match your item master will save you a lot of time and headaches and get you a more accurate rate every time. Selecting the correct class and NMFC code. I know it's a pain and a headache. I've been in this business a long time too. We don't enjoy digging through class IT, but if you can properly and most accurately class and get the NMFC codes for your goods that you are shipping from 50 to 500, the more accurate your freight rates are going to be and the less hassle and extra work you're going to have with adjustments and rebills. Number 4, distance and accessibility. Obviously, a lot of the rate is based on weight and distance traveled, but a lot of it also has to do with accessibility. These are big, heavy-duty 53-wheeler trucks. Even the box trucks are huge. So if it's not a business-to-business freight shipment and has limited accessibility, or is out in the country, or is a farm or a non-traditional delivery location, you want to make sure that you're as accurate as you can be when you're quoting the loads, so that you don't get any surprises later and end up with extra charges. Nobody likes that, least of all me, and least of all my team probably too, because they have to deal with the rebills and adjustments and disputing them. Properly inputting your accessorials, lift gates, residential delivery, appointment, inside delivery, pretty much anything you could think of. A lot of people sometimes don't include those, and then you get an additional charge after the fact, or they're not stern enough or firm enough with their clients to say, hey, is this a home-based business? Is it in a non-traditional delivery setting out in the country, or is it hard to get to? You want to make sure you're firm enough with your client so that you can properly rate the loads that are going to them and give them an accurate price every time. Saves us all a lot of headache and extra work. The bill of lading, the packing slip, and the item master. 3 very important documents. The bill of lading is the document that travels, articulates where the freight is going. The packing slip is what's in the load. And then the item master is actually your internal spec sheet for all the products that you would sell and ship as they are packed and shipped. You just want to make sure that they all coincide, so that if the bill of lading should have exactly what's on the packing slip that's traveling and articulates what's on the load, and then your item master should also match up to those DIM specs and products that you would be shipping, so that if you ever have to do a reclass dispute or anything of that nature, that they all kind of jive. That'll save you a lot of time and headaches. Obviously, properly packaging your freight loads, whether it be palletized or crated. Ideally, if it's a delicate product, have a grade B to grade A pallet, strap it, edge protectors, you can shrink wrap it. There are a variety of things you can do. You could even crate it, if that makes sense, especially if it's a high value product, but that will save you time and money. And the better it's packaged, the less chance I think also that it will get rebuilt or reclassed or things of that nature, because if it's moving around and they put it through the dimensionalizer that a lot of these freight companies have, it can cost you extra time and money. And then an 8th thing would probably be automating your freight tracking. There are a lot of sophisticated tools, especially with technology forward brokerage companies like ours, where you can send multiple parties email tracking, whether it's detailed or just when it's dispatched and out for delivery. But by sending your client, your sales team, operations team or owner, or any involved parties, and giving them transparency of those loads as they dispatch and are out for delivery, it's going to save you a lot of time, headache, extra calls, busy work. But those would be the top 8. If you stick around for a little while, I'm going to go through, I have another 9 additional bonus ideas for pushing those costs down even further, and I'll get to that right now. All right, so I said I had some bonus ideas for you to further economize your overall shipping costs. So I may have said 9, I think I only have 8, but we're gonna go for it, so here we go. If you wanna push your rates down even further, these would be the things that I would focus on from our 12 or 13 years experience. Well, actually it's more like 15 years now. Leverage a 3PL, a third-party logistics brokerage, for their hopefully tech-forward transportation management software that'll save you time and energy, and as well as their bulk pricing, because a lot of these guys spend, millions if not billions of dollars, and you get rates with tons of carriers that are based on that spend annually. And you get access to just a ton of carriers. Not every carrier can have the least expensive price in every lane. They're optimized for certain regions of the country in most cases. So by leveraging a 3PL logistics brokerage, you can always push your prices down further in some or all of the lanes. Number 2, negotiate an FAK, or freight of all kinds. Especially if you have a wide spread of different products that you're shipping and it's complicated and it causes inefficiencies and additional bills or adjustments, you can go to a carrier specifically or multiple carriers and sometimes negotiate one class for multiple items or all items. And that can be a huge benefit for simplifying your shipping process and maybe even reducing the cost too. Negotiate a better discount. Maybe it goes without saying, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Just don't tell my clients this. But, occasionally it happens to us too. Go back to your carrier and ask them for a better discount. See what they say. The worst they can say is no, right? Number 4, negotiate accessorial exemptions. If you're heavily shipping to residences, if you always need a lift gate on your shipments, if you need appointments, things of that nature that bump up the cost, go to your carrier and ask them to waive it or make it exempt. That'll save you money on all your shipments in different ways. Some people don't even think about that. That's something we do probably a lot more in parcel and ground shipping. Number 5, redesign or rethink your packaging. Sometimes that's not always the easiest, but especially if you ship density rated freight or something of that nature, by reducing the cube of your products like bikes, if they can be configured differently or taken apart more, and make the box more compact and dense, that's going to lower your overall cost of shipping those items and probably make it more protected when shipping. Number 6, think about using a regional warehouse and fulfillment center. By staging your products closer to the end consumers, you have faster transit times, a huge reduction in transit-related damages because it's handled less, and an overall faster transit time, which makes your clients happier and hopefully reduce the overall cost. It can be complicated, but if you connect with somebody who understands these regional warehouse and fulfillment setups, it's really not that hard to financially map out what the cost savings will be. Number 7, look at the new API freight automation apps that are coming out to link freight management software to your e-commerce store or your ERP business software like NetSuite or SAP. We have a whole host of API freight apps that just came out recently that basically will let your customer buy the product, rate the shipping, and pay for the whole thing, and it auto books the load, whether it's routing through your e-commerce software or your ERP business software. No matter where those orders are coming from, it can automate the book, quote, dispatch, and track features, which will reduce your headcount and allow you to scale really fast with less people having to actually work your logistics department. I think that's huge. Not a lot of people know about it. It's something that's new and forward thinking and available now. Number 8, if you're beyond that, maybe even consider a managed transportation situation where a brokerage or carrier would take over the whole enchilada and do everything for you as a specialist in that field instead of having a big team that you have to train and deal with. That may be a good option, especially if you're dealing with people that are professionals and do this all day long through your brokerage or whatever. And then if that's not completely the realm that you're in, there's even abilities. We do an outsourced logistics manager program where we'll literally get a full-time or part-time person to just quote book and track your loads and outsource that. All you would have to have is somebody at the warehouse level, if you're not using a 3PL fulfillment warehouse, to pack and get the items ready. But that could be a cost savings and lower the overall cost of your freight shipping and freight shipping quotes overall. So those are a lot of my ideas today. Hopefully it helps you or inspires you to think differently. And if you need help with any of this, we're happy to help you investigate all these options and see if we can possibly do a better job with the way that we're set up. It's my company, we're looking to grow, and we would be honored to help you look at all these options and come up with the best scenario and process for your team. Make it a great day, and I hope to talk to you soon.